Well, Spidops has been one of the more exciting releases recently in Pokemon Go for PvP. Not really a lot of people have been using it, but Spidops is really good at doing one thing, getting out the Pokemon that are strong against Bug-type Pokemon and then punishing them with a charge move that you have. And so, why not utilize it? That's what I thought here for today's team. Today we're going to try to use Spidops in order to make Scizor shine. So, Scizor on the back is going to be our main Pokemon to focus on, but Spidops is here to support it. Spidops here to bait out the Pokemon that are strong against Bug types, so Scizor doesn't have to deal with them. And so, hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at a very strong team towards the Shadow Scizor. This is going to be a very interesting team. It's going to be utilizing the lead of Stunfisk, being able to deal with Talonflame, being able to deal with Fire-type Pokemon generally that Scizor usually would struggle against. We're going to have the face-up of our Spidops, which is supposed to bait out the Pokemon that generally are good against those bug types. And here in the first battle, actually, you have the wrong move. And also, what the hell is the opponent's team? Like, the opponent's team is a WigglyTuff in the lead and a Carbink in the back. I would definitely assume that they're going to have a great answer against Scizor on the back, because otherwise they would lose immediately against this Pokemon. So it's not really looking too great right now, but yeah, this is going to be first up the counter Spidops, which you saw in the last video that I did about this one as well, and I think it was the Jungle Cup, where it was honestly quite solid. But yeah, here we're going to see the swap out into the WigglyTuff. We're going to be able to farm them down. What do they have for the back? We have a shield advantage here, which is quite nice. The opponent decided to get rid of their energy advantage, generally, and get rid of their Carbink there in this scenario. And we're going to get out the opponent's Gastrodon, and honestly, this is going to be a bit of an awkward matchup. I sure most likely went for just 2 Trailblazers, but I didn't know if I would be able to get there. And now I'm in a position where I am definitely not going to be able to get to anything. So I'm kind of forced to use my Stunfisk here in order to hopefully knock out the opponent's Gastrodon. Does it work out? It does. And with that, we still have 2 shields left, which means no matter what the Carbink is going to do here, they are going to go down. Normally, like, they're not going to be able to go for 2 more Rock Slides at this point, 3 Rock Slides in total, before we'll be able to reach a Mud Bomb. And so we are going to be able to win the first battle. The next opponent, honestly, shoutouts to you. I hope you watch this video. Honestly, JonkusPKMN here is someone who supported me a lot, especially in the beginning of when I started streaming. I want to go back to streaming as well on Twitch. I'm just having to figure out some stuff towards still. But yeah, shout out to you. Really early on supporter of my channel there on Twitch. So yeah, again, thanks so much for everything. Here we're going to have a battle. I'm happy that you are still playing, and I'm happy that you are that high up as well. So as you can see here, we're going to be able to go up against them. They had a very good lead against us, to be fair. They had like the best lead possible against us. And we decided to go into the Scizor instead of going into our Spidops. This only happens basically when you're going to encounter ground type in the lead, because otherwise you're going to just have your weaker Pokemon in the back. But honestly, what I have to say, if I faced a ground type Pokemon in the lead, I felt like I did not have a lot of play with my backline there. And this is me being honest. I feel like there were a lot of times such cases where it was just difficult to come back from it, because also Scizor is not going to be the best Pokemon to deal with it. So now thinking about it, I should have just went into my Spidops no matter what. Here in this case, of course, it would have been great to go into the Spidops, because then we would have had the Scizor against this Pokemon still. But yeah, there's nothing I can do here. This was, to be fair, a hard counter team. There's nothing I can do about it. They played it very well though, and that's something I have to say here as well, of course. But there's nothing that I can do about this scenario here. We're just getting kind of walled. But even though they're going to have here a Rock type against us with a Rock type Force Move coverage, to be fair, Spidops got them quite low, and I'm quite happy with that. That's okay for me for this result. And yeah, shout out to you again. Good game, and we can move on to the next opponent, where Girafarig is waiting for us, and I want to catch a Trailblaze. Was I able to catch a Trailblaze here? I was. And this is going to be a resisted hit instead of a super effective hit. And also they are swapping out into a Raichu. No, I'm not down like Elo or anything like this. I'm close to like the Legend range again. I'm of course already hit Legend way earlier. But I am around like 2,900 in this case. Facing a Raichu is kind of funny. Facing a Girafarig is kind of funny. Those are really cool core breakers, to be fair. Like, they are all very cool. The cool thing about Raichu is that they have access to Trailblaze, and like electric type Pokemon that has coverage against the main weakness of electric typing, which is of course ground types. And so I kind of really respect it. Here we will see though the Jeffrey catching the move of our own Stunfisk, which is going to make some things a little bit more difficult. But as you see as well, I'm going to try to go for Mud Bomb, try to knock them out, and in comes the Greninja, which I am going to be able to counter here with yet another Discharge. This is going to do some very solid damage against them, and we're going to try our best to go ahead and go for the full farm down, but it doesn't work out. And so the opponent is going to be able to knock us out here. But it doesn't really matter at the end of the day because we still have the Scizor. Scizor's going to be able to go for another charge move here. And the Raichu is going to go down here for sure. And we can move on to the next opponent, where we will face a Scizor in the lead. That's okay. We can go for the Mud Bomb. That is going to be alright. This is going to allow us to get the damage onto them. And I can swap out onto my Spidops in order to try to catch a Trailblaze. And now we have fast move pressure still against the opponent with... To be fair, all our Pokemon can do some nice fast pressure against them. Then I'll swap out onto the Togekiss. That is not the best answer to me because we have access to the move Rock Tomb. But not only this, we're also going to be able to now survive the fast moves a little bit easier, allowing me to reach a lunge before they would go down. And do they just sacrifice the Togekiss here? Yes, they do. And with that, we have alignment. And not only this, we have also Spidops still alive here, which is going to be able to... Okay, still stay there. I want to win with all 3 Pokemon apparently. I can now go ahead and go for the shield against the opponent's Dragonite, which is fantastic. As in comes now here the opponent's Scizor, we are going to be able to use a shield against the Knights as well, farm them down. We're 2 shields down, but to be fair, this doesn't really matter because what we can do is we can go for the full farm down, and this is going to allow us to win this battle. And yet again, another bad lead. We have another Marowak here. And to be fair again, I should have most likely swapped out into my Spidops. Even though it's the harder answer, a lot of times this is here just, you're not going to be able to really win this with Scizor either. But what you're going to be able to do with Scizor, which is kind of nice, is get them A low, and B, you're going to be able to get a shield advantage, which can of course be quite handy. As we will see, we are going to have here now the Spidops coming in, still being forced to use a shield. And because they went for the bait here, I was expecting that this would be now the Rock Slide coming in and I try to catch it. Based on what I said just now, you most likely can assume already it was not a Rock Slide. And so that was quite unfortunate, and this is most likely going to shift the game quite a bit into my opponent's favor. And yeah, there's not really a lot that I can do about it right now. I can go for Discharge here, but the opponent is going to be able to knock me out here. If I didn't swap, this would have not happened. I would have had enough health there as well on my Pokemon there to survive Nice Beam. But still, this game does not mean to be over, because we have here now the Rock Tomb coming in, and they're swapping out now into their own Scizor. And to be fair, I do think that I maybe could have won this battle, even at this point still, but I'm not too sure. And here's my question for the day. Is this going to knock out this singular charge move now? If this Rock Tomb would knock out, we would have been fine. I am not too sure. Is it the range for Rock Tomb? I assume it maybe still would have survived here. But yeah, this was quite unfortunate because maybe I could have actually won this battle. Next opponent is going to be Big ML. Also one of like the... Actually, Big ML is the streamer or like the content creator that watched the first for like Pokemon Go. This was like literally earliest on for when PvP kind of first released, and I kind of was interested in seeing, oh, how can I climb, how can I get better with the game, because I was a noob in the beginning. I remember them streaming as well, and they had like their face cam literally on the ground, which didn't make any sense in my opinion. So looked up basically on top of them while they were holding their phone. That was great time, but that was literally back in the day. Shout out to Big ML. I think he's still streaming. But yeah, very, very cool early time for like Pokemon Go. It's such a nostalgic episode now with like 2 players that I know from literally early on when I started content creation as well. As you're going to see here, there's going to be sadly again yet another not so great matchup. We're going to have the Fearow, and I try my best to farm them down, which works out quite well. They're very likely are going to be going into the Covenant. This is honestly mostly going to change the entire battle. This catch itself is mostly going to change the entire battle. Great catch, didn't really expect it, didn't see it coming. Well done, because this now will allow them to kind of force some shields. Here's the thing, if I stayed in there, yes, I would have been able to knock them out with another Mud Bomb if I shielded their move up. But I couldn't really allow myself to shield a move up there, and yeah, it just didn't really work out that well. To be fair, if I would have been able to go for the discharge against this thing, I definitely would have won this battle. And so, yeah, shout out to Big ML. Well done there. Well done with that battle. Caught the move. And that was, at the end of the day, what won them the battle. Yeah, shout out to you. Really well done. And that is all I can say. Like, this was definitely a matchup that I could have won if I played it better, but they played better than me. And that's how it is. Let's move on to the next one. Corviknight in the lead. It's going to be a Pokemon that we can deal with, but they sub into the Annihilate. And Annihilate, I just kind of like to damage a little bit always early because you kind of want to, deal as much pressure to the opponent as possible. In comes here though our Spidops, and this is where Spidops is kind of excelling here as well. Spidops is able to just go for a farm down like this, because, okay, I have to shield once at least. I think I might even have to throw, but at least we're going to be able to resist counter, as well as we're going to be able to do super effective damage. I don't want to risk the full farm down, because at the end of the day, it is not worth it. It is absolutely not worth it. If I use a shield there, it is so, detrimental to my game plan that I don't really want to do it. And here we're going to see the Corviknight coming in anyway. And Corviknight has to still throw, that it wouldn't be able to ever farm us down. And also, as you see as well, we're just going to be able to counter them. In comes Stunfisk. That is alright. But this is going to be, as you will see as well, a matchup where I want to go into my Scizor, because I know that I still need my other Pokemon, my Stunfisk against the opponent's last Pokemon there, the Corviknight I think it was. And as you can see, we're going to try our best to go for yet another Night Slash, but we have to force this shield here basically. If we don't shield, this is not going to work out. We're going to have a Night Slash coming in again, and we just try to get the opponent low, but as we will see, this is going to be the Corviknight coming in. Now we're going to try to go for another charge move. This is fine. This is going to be now the, Stunfisk coming in. We should be able to overfarm by a bit. We have to overfarm in order to have a chance at least of winning this battle. But let's see on how this is going to go. This is coming in now. This is going to be enough to get the KO here. But can we still reach another move? This is the question. We can, and with this, we're going to be able to take this game home. And we can move on to the next one, where we will face a Togekiss in the lead. That is going to be a fantastic lead for us, as I swap out into the Corsola. And here I was thinking, should I have swapped out earlier already into my Spidops? I'm not too sure. My plan now is to take a hit from the opponent, try to keep some energy here as well on my Stunfisk, which I am going to be able to do, which is quite fantastic. As we will see here now, the Nightshade coming through, we are going to be able to go into our Spidops, and we can see here that we can go for a shield, and the Power Gem is coming in afterwards. I will try to go for a Rocktomb against the opponent's Togekiss, and as we saw before earlier already, we are going to be able to get some damage onto them, and this is going to allow us to just let the move go. It's going to be the Psyshock doing some small amount of damage, and we can go for the full farm down, allowing us to get some nice damage in now against the Corsola as well with that, Rock Tomb, which is going to be perfect. As you will see as well, we can go for the double farm down. We will see here as well the Garstone coming in, as we will be able to go for a Night Slash. This is going to get the shield, and we try our best to reach another move. Night Slash is coming through again. They very likely could even decide to go for another shield here. Okay, they do that. I actually thought I would maybe let the move go. And now it's down to our Stunfisk. Can we still win this battle? We are going to have here, of course, access to Mud Bomb, but I need a little bit more damage, and so I swap out into my Spidops. I try to get to another charge move. It doesn't work out, but now we have the CMP tie. Is it going to be enough to knock out the opponent's Gastrodon? Let's find out here. The Water Pulse is going to hit, and this Mud Bomb is going to be able to connect against the opponent, and with that, take them out, and we can move on to the next opponent, where Charizard hits the field. Of course, on the perfect position for us, but they swap out into the Credilli, and I should be able to take a hit. Yeah, I shouldn't really shield this first move up, and I should be able to also go for a charge move still before they get to another one, because it's not really worth it to do anything else. And so I just have to go for another Night Slash straight away. This is going to be okay there as well. As we will see, I didn't get the move off. That was kind of silly. I should have went straight for the move. Discharge is coming through. This is going to be enough to get the shield from them, or we have to kind of rely on our Stunfisk to win this battle. In comes the Spidops against the Venusaur, and it's such a good matchup that the opponent decides to forfeit. We win this one. So, let's take a look here at the final battle, and let's take a look at Spidops. How is this Pokemon? How is this team? So, Spidops itself, honestly, is a very cool Pokemon. It has some solid bulk, it has double debuffing moves. I think it's really cool. I do think, though, that I would like to try out Spidops with the charge move of Scizor soon, because I feel like lunge is not needed as often. Like, if you can go for the lunge, like, it's usually kind of paced very similar compared to, basically, you go kind of pace very similar to the Rock Tomb there as well. But if you have Scizor, you would be able to maybe get a bit faster there, and I think it would be kind of cool. So, I might try this out eventually as well, if you are interested in that as well. But Spidops itself, very strong Pokemon. You have to be a bit mindful though. I actually think that the fast move of itself with Shadow Claw is not as ideal for it. While it is the best fast move that it has, I just don't think it is ideal for this Pokemon itself. Because generally you come up a lot of times against normal type Pokemon. And so even counter as a Scizor would be kind of cool, but counter is not really the best fast move anymore. So it's a bit of a tough one. Generally speaking though, I think this team was fantastic. I think that Spidops does a great job at kind of helping out the Scizor in order to get out Pokemon. But to be fair, we didn't even see it that often today that we had the option to bait something out that Scizor would have been generally weak to. But the idea behind the team I think is really alright, and I think generally it's a very cool team, and I think Spidops is cool, the team is cool, Scizor is very strong in the back. So yeah, generally I think it's a top team. But yeah, you can try it for yourself. Let me know down below how it works, and I will see you then. Bye bye.